Happy Saturday, folks, and welcome back to another installment in my Injection of Inspiration video series. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well. And every single Saturday right here on the show, I, Graham G.S. Matthews, inject you with your daily dose of motivational advice, helpful tips, and all that great shit. Today we're talking about seek solutions and don't settle. Don't settle for being content. Don't settle for being fine with what you have. Always be seeking solutions to the problems in your life. You're always going to have problems. Newsflash, reality check. You're always going to have problems no matter what stage of life you are at. Even if you're 2 years old, maybe you're struggling to fit in with other kids at school, or maybe you're struggling to decide between peanut butter and jelly and what you eat for lunch that day. When you're 19 or 20, maybe you're trying to decide, or rather 17 or 18, your biggest problem is deciding what party you should go to on Saturday, or more on a bigger scale, trying to decide what college to go to. Maybe if you're 30 or 31, your biggest problem is debt, college debt, paying, whatever, your loans and this and that and bills and whatever, relationship shit and whatever. You're always going to have problems no matter what. The key here is ensuring that you don't have the same problems. Now, of course, you're going to have your fixed problems in life, your fixed costs. Basically what I just said. As you get older, you're going to have your loans, you're going to have your bills to pay, your electricity bill, your water bill, your mortgage, all this other stuff. You got to pay your landlord or whatever. You're always going to have that stuff. I'm not saying escape that stuff and run from the government. What I'm saying is that in other facets of your life, in other aspects, in other parts of your life, there are some things that you're going to be dealing with that you shouldn't have to be dealing with. I deal and encounter with so many people on a daily basis that never cease to complain about the same fucking things on a daily basis. Where I'm not saying the solution is simple. Very rarely is a solution simple to such a big problem. But the biggest problem with these people, as I've said probably countless times before here on the show, is that they don't seek for solutions. They would instead settle for complaining. And I mean, there's one thing to be said for complaining and another thing to be said for venting, getting out your frustrations, which is always very, very healthy. Bottling in that anger is never healthy. That's never recommended. So never do that. But then again, more often than not, it's a common case of complaining, which a lot of people do, which is, again, normal behavior. And we all tend to do it from one time or another. But the biggest problem with your problems is that you're not trying to find a solution to your problems. You yourself are becoming a problem. Your problems aren't the problem. You're the fucking problem. Quote me on that shit. I found this awesome quote online that I thought I would share with you guys here today. Again, don't know the side of the quote. Maybe if it's in the thumbnail of the video. I record this stuff before I find the pictures to create the videos for, so maybe I'm already making a fool of myself. But the quote was this: "It's not whether you have a tough problem to deal with, but whether it's the same problem you already had. Doing the same shit over and over and over in so many words is the definition of insanity." Maybe not literally, but, I think it's an old Albert Einstein quote. It's a very famous quote. A lot of people use it. I forgot who it was by. Don't quote me on not remembering who said that quote. But I think it's an awesome quote once again. It's not whether you have a tough problem to deal with, but whether it's the same problem you already had. Again, some people do the same thing over and over and over and over and over, expecting a different result without changing their approach. Again, doing the same thing over and over and being resilient, there's something to be said for that, and being perseverant and attempting to reach one goal. But if you're making the same mistake over and over and over without correcting said mistake and you're getting the same result, at some point you've got to realize that it's not working. You have to change your approach. You have to change maybe not who you are, and I've said that before, never change who you are, but maybe change how you're approaching said goal, or change the goal itself, depending on how important it is to you. But if you're always having the same problems, that's a problem. If you're having the same recurring issue, fix what's going on there. Analyze all aspects from all angles. How am I doing this? How am I responding to this problem? Am I just complaining about it without doing anything really about it? Another topic I've talked about here before in the show is stressing out about shit, how that could be your biggest enemy of all things. At the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of stuff that life throws your way. It's not about, really what life throws your way that determines the quality of life that you live. It's your actions, and more importantly, your reactions. You take responsibility for your own thoughts and actions and what you do and what you say. Never think that you don't have control over what you do and what you say ultimately. But again, you can deal with your own issues. And if you're not doing anything to encounter and try to solve said problems, that's your biggest problem. So stressing out about it, you control, maybe not certain. I mean, some people have anxiety and stuff like that, medical disorders, and that's completely understandable. But at the end of the day, it is up to you to decide what that next step is going to be. You can get advice from other people. Advice is awesome, depending on where it's coming from. But at the end of the day, all the answers you will ever need to know to stuff like that is already within you. It takes just a little time to dig deeper and find them. Once again, amazing quote. I want to repeat it one more time for you guys. It's not whether you have a tough problem to deal with. We all have tough problems. To break away from the quote for a second. We all have problems. I hate when people, it's like a fucking pissing contest. My life is worse than yours. I had more bad shit happen to me than this guy or that woman, whatever. Does it really fucking matter at the end of the day? It doesn't matter what's happened to you, because we all have bad shit happen to us. Some stuff might be worse than others, and never think that you have it the worst. There is always someone out there who has it worse than you. Always. Never think you have it the worst. You may have it bad, and in some circumstances, you can't really do much to change your current situation, depending on what it is. But again, someone out there is always going to have it worse. If your living conditions aren't the most optimal, there's someone else out there, whether they be down the street or in another country, that lives in a fucking box. They're homeless. Again, someone always has it worse. Always think about that before you say anything or complain about anything, before you even think that you have it worse than anyone else. Very much, and maybe in your social circle, but in the broader scheme, in the broader circle of things, in the long term, you don't have it the worst. People will always have it worse than you. So that's not really a matter. That's not really something to wear as a badge of honor anyway. What I'm telling you is that everyone's going to have problems. No matter how many you have, you might have some more than others, than other people that you associate yourself with. But it's a matter of whether you tackle said issues and find a solution. Solve said problems. Go on. Attack them head on. Try to find ways that they can be resolved and that you can move past them so you can focus on the next goal. You can focus on another endeavor. Tough problems will come and go at certain points in your life. It fucking happens. That's life. There's going to be a lot of other awesome stuff to focus on and enjoy as well. So be sure to focus on that. Never settle for being content. Never settle for being mediocre. Always strive to be your best. Seek solutions. If there's any 2 words to take away from today's video, it is those 2 words right there. Seek solutions. It is up to you to be the best you that you can fucking be, no matter what life throws your way. You should take more pride in overcoming every obstacle that comes your way and dealing with the problems. Again, to have the problems come your way, it's like a fucking, it's like in school when people get dealt 5 or 6 tests. Sitting there and complaining about it is not going to do you any good. It's not going to do anyone justice. So you might as well fucking do the thing and get it over with. Because that's one less problem you have to now worry about. And that's better for your overall health. You will now be healthier and happier now that you have overcome and solved that problem. Again, for some people, it's going to be more difficult than others. I cannot tell you how many people I encounter on a daily basis in various facets of life that complain about where they work, who they deal with, who they're dating, all this other shit, a lot of it being meaningless. Because at the end of the day, once all is said and done, once you have lived your life, this stuff in the modern, this very second, as I always say, live in the moment, but the stuff that you are dealing with at this very moment is not going to be relevant fucking 50 years from now, more often than not. Unless you screw up, that's a little different. It won't be relevant a year from now. It might not even be relevant a day from now because it's in the past. And now you're focusing on the future. Again, this ties back to what I've said before about jobs. That's probably the most prime example with people saying, oh, my fucking job sucks, blah, blah, blah. Right now, it might be tough for you to find somewhere better. to find somewhere that you like a lot more, or something you're better at, that you're gifted at, that you're talented at. It might not be that simple, but there's a lot of people who don't even try, that don't even go out and look for a better place to work. People just fucking settle for being mediocre, for being fucking miserable. Don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for being content. Don't settle for being fucking miserable. Because a lot of people do. Be the one person that doesn't. Be the best you that you can be. Go out there and strive to accomplish all goals and attack problems head on. There's always going to be solutions out there in various facets of life. Wherever which way, no matter how much effort it takes, again, it really takes analyzing, and it might just take time. But in time, all problems can be solved. Remember that. No matter how many problems you have on your plate right now, I've talked about this before, you should take pride and enjoy the fact, appreciate the fact that once you cross one thing off your list, one problem off your list solved, that's one less thing you have to worry about. Then you can attack the next thing. It's like the domino effect. You do this, you do that, you do this, you do this, and it's all over with eventually. And again, you're always going to have certain problems and shit that you're dealing with, but instead of just complaining and saying that all my problems are worse than yours, or my problems are causing me so much stress, whatever, attack them head on. Don't even say anything. Just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. Like Shia LaBeouf would always say in those crazy ass videos he created, that meme that was created from the Just Do It thing a few years ago. Just fucking do it. Don't complain about it. And now the problem will have been solved. And the time that it took for you to complain about that problem and talk about it to other people and attempt to compare it to other people's problems. And of course, sharing your problems and venting about it is always healthy, like I said earlier. But in the time it took for you to complain about it, it could have either been done, or you could have already thought a way to attack and solve the problem. So again, some things, in some circumstances, in some situations, it's easier said than done. You can't get up and leave a job and find somewhere else tomorrow. Things take time. But if you're not in the process of finding something better to achieve the healthiest and happiest life that you possibly can lead, that's on you. You are your own biggest problems. Again, never settle. Seek solutions. I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Thank you guys for checking out the video here today. I appreciate it. Like, drop a comment, share the video. Above all else, subscribe to the channel for daily content. I'll be back next Saturday with another all-new installment of Injection of Inspiration. I apologize for my voice being shot. It's been shot for the last few days after hanging out with John on Saturday, or today's Saturday, on Thursday rather. But nevertheless, we'll be back next Saturday. All new episode. Check it out then. In the meantime and in between time, once again, I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Be well, and I'll catch you guys down the road.